versus movie. Movie versus movie. Movie versus movie. Movie versus movie.
Hey everyone, it is Culture Boys, and your host Nick is back with co-host.
It's Patrick. What's up?
Hey, and I was just saying off mic, Patrick, I'm ready to fight. I'm swinging fists because I went online the other day because Alice and I wanted to watch just like a silly childhood movie. We wanted to watch 17 again, and so we were like, okay, let's try to find this. None of the streaming services hold it. You have to pay like $4 to rent it from any of the services. And it's like 10 or 12 bucks to buy it. And I was like, fuck this, dude. This is just buying a DVD. Except we don't even get access to it forever because it's going to disappear. Because I also went then to a different thing and they had just removed it off of all of the streaming services. So there wasn't a place to watch it except if you bought it on Amazon. And I was so pissed. And today I was like, okay, it's time. It's for me to make my like nuclear fallout shelter. I'm going to just start making a list and putting DVDs that I want eventually to like have forever that I can play to make my library. And I went to The Matrix because it's a very important film. I wanted to see the trilogy. And I looked at it and the whole thing, Bezos isn't selling anymore. You can't stream it in America. And I was looking at the
what?
DVDs and all of the prices had... Yeah.
The Matrix, you can't stream?
And so here's the thing. My conspiracy mind is like, it's a cyberpunk story. It's anti-corporate. It's anti all these things. It's also pro-trans. There's like a lot of queer actors and like production folks in it. And I was like, it is a weird political moment in which trying to free your mind is probably not the message that the government wants. So maybe Bezos pulled it, but that's me being a conspiracy theorist. Otherwise, I don't know why.
Yeah, because I think I feel like regardless of the text of the movie, it's also, I feel like the more prominent cultural artifact of The Matrix is like the red pill movement, though, which is
that's true. That's true.
So it's like, it's the promise of streaming. It's such bullshit because it's this idea that you can have everything at your fingertips, but it's not. It's just more scarcity.
Yeah, because because the whole thing was like, look, the thing about streaming that was exciting was I can choose what I want and I don't have to watch commercials to get this. Like I can have an uninterrupted experience. Both of those things are not true anymore because every streaming service has gotten so expensive that most of the users are probably like myself on the ad tier, and they're not available on every streaming service, and they paywall ones that are super, super popular. So you have to pay more. So it's just cable with the ads.
Yeah. When we watched When Harry Met Sally for this podcast, I couldn't find it streaming anywhere, nowhere that I had an account access to. And I'll generally rent a movie on YouTube for $3 or $4 because it's easy and convenient, but you couldn't even rent it on YouTube. You could only buy it. So now I air quotes own When Harry Met Sally on YouTube. But again, it's like streaming music like iTunes and stuff too. You don't actually own anything. You're paying for the right to stream it from this company, but in theory they can take that away.
Yeah, that's the thing is, and not only could they take it away, they could also just go under as a company and then you can't use it anymore.
Yeah.
So it's just made me be like, because I really prided my, like throughout my 20s, I was so proud of the fact that I could move from apartment to apartment with essentially a garbage bag of stuff. I was like, this is amazing. This is how I want to live my life. That obviously has changed as we get older. We start accumulating more things, making like actual homes. But I will say I never really went back in for like books or physical media like games or movies. Like I always bought the digital. I think I'm going to go the other way. I think I'm just going to have a library of like the core films that I know that I like that are rewatchers. You know what I mean? That I know that I love, that I want to show or lend to other people or to, share with kids. Like, I think I am going to have a library of stupid DVDs.
Yeah, I support it. Physical media, it's important and good. And you get DVD extras again. I miss DVD
Yeah,
extras.
I do too. I was thinking about this the other day, but there's a couple of new films that I was like, I would love to hear a director's commentary, but there really
Yeah.
isn't. There's no reason for them anymore. Like it's
Yeah, I
just
don't
paying
even
the
know
director
if
extra.
yeah, I don't know that they record them anymore.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is such a bummer because like a lot of film theory, as we do know it today, like part of the contribution to that has been very famous, really well beloved filmmakers talking about their work as they like, and they like have specific, it's basically like filming or recording a masterclass on the artistic thought that went into that film. You know what I mean? And that's so important for young artists, and it's just such a bummer.
Yeah. So, okay, does this segue into the other conversation topic you brought up, which
Yes.
is video fidelity? Because I was going to
Yeah.
ask, what format are you going to build your collection out of?
Yeah, so this is the thing. There's a lot of, as I have started building this list, I found that there's multi formats that you can get, and they bundle a bunch of formats together. They're
Okay.
usually more expensive, but maybe is more future proofed. There's Blu ray, which I am highly considering, DVD, which I am not considering, and the 4K, this Ultra HD Blu ray. So my question is, because I've been looking this up, it seems like if you have a TV under like 45 inches, you really actually don't get any difference because there's no physical space to change the amount of pixels on that small of a TV. And I'm using air quotes small because that's still a very good sized TV. But the thing is, when you get a little bit bigger, you can see the difference, but also in like games and other things that are completely digitally created, like cartoons are very similar, where it's going to be much brighter colors, very like much more pixel dense. But I also know that like with old movies, when you see something where it's like auto sharpened or like it feels like really high fidelity, it kind of takes something away from the experience of watching it. And I'm also like with the smoothing TVs, if you've ever seen those where they interpolate between frames and kind of add frames so that it looks too smooth, kind of soap opera-y. Like, will 4K end up like that? And it's actually better to just have a Blu-ray. That's the question I'm having right now. So what is better? What is actually discernible, and what do we think has the staying power? 4K or Blu-ray is my question.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I do know most TVs you can turn off motion smoothing because I feel like there's a
Yes.
whole community around people figuring it. It's called different things on all the different TVs and people figuring out what it's called so they can turn it off on their parents' TV. Because it's upsetting. I hate it.
I hate it. It's like, why would you do that? Like, why? Because it actually
Yeah.
takes the artistry out of what has been done.
I mean, I think it's it makes sense for sports when you
Yes.
want it to be extremely crisp. But yeah, for movies and TV shows, it's upsetting. I can remember when that like first came out and being worried of like, is this how like things are gonna look from now on? But
My mom loves it. She has it on all of her TVs. Every time we go, we sneakily turn them off. But dude, like it's
yeah,
they don't see a difference. I don't think that they care. I don't get it.
that's crazy. Yeah, the format thing though is like I don't know, but I feel like there's a lot of movies that older movies get higher upgraded transfers, and I know that there's been some controversy. I think in general there's a variety of quality of these transfers, but lately there's been ones that are done in part with AI, and I know like a lot of James Cameron movies just got transferred, and there's some that look that don't look good, and people are upset about them because they didn't do a good job and kind of just fed it into the AI and then started selling what it spit out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Blu-ray is such a fascinating format because I feel like it didn't really take off in its time, but now
Yeah.
that physical media
Is coming back.
is coming back, yeah. And
I
then,
feel
but
like
then
Blu-ray is just, it seems like it's a little bit cheaper, which is nice. It's like $10, which is what you would pay for a DVD back in the day, or what you pay for buying them digitally now. I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit better because the 4K ones are like $30.
Yeah. Well, that's the other question. I know that there's like steelbooks now, which are the like collector's edition. Are you going
And
to
they look
become
great.
Yeah, are you going to lean into that, or are you just purely I want it so I can watch it?
I think that the whole point of it is that I want this to be something that I'm not hoarding. It's something that I am feeling like I have control over the consumption of this. So I can say like, hey, I'm lending this to you. Like if it gets lost, that's okay. Somebody else got to experience this beloved movie of mine, or like, showing, like I said, kind of longevity. I want them to be used. So I don't think I'm going to go in for the collector's stuff, but there might be a couple of things that I would go in for. Like, I think one of the most formative shows that I saw as a kid was Neon Genesis Evangelion. And whenever, they create like an ultimate edition, crazy, amazing steel book, I will probably buy that. Yeah.
So certain things, yeah.
Yeah.
I bought our friend Jamie and Dune. It doesn't even have a disc in it. It was just a case that someone made on Etsy, which seemed fun. It was like a custom made one.
And that's like such a cool thing too. Like the disc itself doesn't really come any different in a steel book. So if you want something like really presentational to display and be like, this is a great movie, you can buy a case on Etsy and then, just put the DVD in that.
Yeah.
So that seems fine.
The other, I would say, I guess like benefit of getting a physical media player is you can also just go to the library too, because I feel like libraries still have
libraries
huge
are so great
physical media collections, and a lot of times stuff you can't find on streaming. Or
that's how Alice and I watch most of our movie versus movie picks.
Really?
We do the library.
I guess you have a gaming console that has.
Yeah, I have a PS5, so that's like the Blu-ray. I think it has ultra high def, like 4K capabilities, but who knows?
Yeah, that's the thing is I don't currently have any way, I don't think, to play.
I mean, here's the thing though, is that a Blu-ray player or even a high def Blu-ray player, which is probably what I would get, is like maximum $70.
Okay.
And like you could just have it and then it just, you attach it to a computer, you attach it to a monitor, like you don't even need a TV really. You can just, have it. Because I think that's going to be, I feel like maybe I'm in a little bit of a dark political moment because I'm like, I think that it's going to be important to own the access to certain things.
Yeah, I know. I think it's true. And it just like feels, whether it makes a like noticeable difference, I think it just feels better too. Especially with music. I'm curious. I mean, with movies and TV shows, it's like hard to say. Yeah. I don't think you feel the same direct connection to be able to like, I'm supporting the artist.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, I don't know, I would imagine at least a little more money goes to the people who made it than our like monthly streaming subscriptions.
Yeah. Yeah, truly, like, I am so envious of your album collection. Every time I come over, I'm like, oh my God, these are so cool.
Well, we've recently started cataloging it on Discogs, and partly because when people are like asking about gifts, there's been a couple times where I've gotten an album that I already have and it's awkward. Yeah. And so I'm like, we can put that out there so people can cross-reference.
Is this you subtly telling me that for your birthday last year, the album that Alice and I got you already had?
No. It's been, no. No. You guys, you made great picks. It was with, I think it was a family member, but anyways, that's, people can cross-reference it and we can have like a wish list, but it's also interesting because then you can also see, because Discogs is a marketplace too. And so you can see
your value
of what you think it is. But yeah, Discogs has estimated values of stuff based on what it's sold for. So I can see how much, but I guess partly how much the collection is worth, quote unquote, but mainly how much we've spent on it, because I think very few of them have appreciated in value. Honestly, we were like, oh, I'm curious to see if any of these records we have like are worth anything, maybe like somewhat rare. And the only one was this random one that's like a 10-inch EP that I think Aaron was like, I think I bought that at one point. It's this band called The Middle East. And I'm like,
Oh,
I
the
know
Middle
we've,
East, I know them.
oh, really? Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
I know we've had this for a long time. I had no idea where it came from. I've never listened to it. And it's worth like, I can't remember, like $60 or something. Like it's
Oh, that's
somewhat
dope.
rare. And so we were like, okay. But
The only
yeah.
thing I don't like about the vinyl market is like, okay, so one of my favorite albums is The Midnight Organ Fight by Frightened Rabbit. Sorry, not Modern Baseball. Frightened Rabbit. And I was looking for that record, and since the lead singer had passed away, there basically weren't any new pressings, and each album was like $500, $100 to $500 kind of thing. And I was like, I just am not going to own my favorite, album on vinyl. And this is the only time that Amazon kind of came through, is that I had said it as like, oh, I would love to buy this. And then it said, sorry, that there aren't any. I thought they had refunded me. Instead, they kept my money. And when a pressing came available that was in that price range, they just sent it to me. So that was really cool. But
Nice. Yeah. I haven't, I've like at times been tempted to be like, is there like something that I want to like spend a lot of, something that's rare that I'd be willing to like look for. I think, just like the hunt of it would be a little more exciting. And one, I'm like, I'm buying these to listen to them. I'm not trying to like preserve them. But the only one, I had a similar situation where the one where I was like, I'd maybe do it is the Mountain Goats and John Vanderslice had put out, I think they had done a run of 1,000 of a EP called Moon Colony Bloodbath, which wasn't on streaming or anywhere else. Like it was only available physically for the longest time. I think they sold it on tour like back in the early 2000s, and that was super rare and very expensive. But then a couple years ago, they did another pressing of 1,000 and put it on streaming. So I got one from that pressing for a reasonable price, and it's like, now I have it. It's less special no, it's not less special. It's much more accessible now because you can just get it everywhere. But also, I think you should check it out because it does sound. You chuckled at the title, and I'm like, this does feel very up Nick's alley. Cause it's like,
okay.
I'm
willing. I was chuckling because I was just like, that's a great title. But yeah, I'll definitely listen to it.
Yeah.
It is weird because it feels like physical media is becoming important again, and like access to art is going to become important again. And I wonder if that's actually going to like kind of work in culture's favor when it comes to modern releases, because a lot of movies, like I looked for Palm Springs just because it's a Hulu original movie, but I really liked it. It was just kind of a fun movie that I'd love to have in my collection. That is not available as a DVD in the North, like American territories or whatever that region is called, for DVD players. So it's just like, I wonder if they're just going to stop releasing physical media, except for those collector's editions probably. But
yeah, that really sucks. Yeah, I think
then it's like, what about your, like, what is going to be sticky in the culture anymore then? Because it is going to rely so much on these kind of digital landlords for access to them. You know what I mean? It's weird.
Yeah. It's terrible. Yeah, I've read.
Sorry, it's raining. It's gray.
Yeah, I've read stories of creators, I think especially animators, who have shows that they get to make a couple seasons and they go on a streaming service, and then they get pulled down and they don't exist on that streaming service, and the production company never made any physical media, and these creators are like, I don't even have a copy of this show that I worked on. Yeah, which is, it's just like sad and bleak. And like, why? Like, what, to what end?
Because it's a tax write-off. Yeah. That's why you shelve that stuff, because it's now a liability, and if you didn't make up your money on the initial release, then you can claim it as a loss or whatever. It's ridiculous. It's crazy because there's that. Remember those stories like 5-ish years ago, where Warner Brothers was almost done like a couple of like big DC movies, like Wonder Woman kind of movies. And they just shelved them. They were just like, we're shelving them. We're never releasing them. And people were kind of excited for them. And they were like, why would you even do that, even if you think the movie is bad? But these people are not in the business of arts, it's more about whatever bottom line will be more beneficial to them. So it just feels kind of scary, because a lot of times in the old days when you would make a movie like that and a studio shelved it, then you could just bring it to a different production house and sell the rights to it. But a lot of these companies now own the IPs because of the streaming sort of aspect of it. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Patrick's like, I'm just really bummed out now. Let's shift to something a lot more fun. Let's talk about next month. I have been sort of compiling movies that I think that we could pair with Wet Hot American Summer, but I'm also super not attached to any of these pairings yet. So if you have any ideas or want to pitch some, I'm super down to do those as well. But let's start it out. Do you have anything that you would think that could pair with our theme of camp?
I want to hear yours. Rattle yours off, and then I can offer my thoughts.
Okay. Let us look. So there is a movie called Camp, which is pretty culturally important when it comes to kind of queer movies, but it also takes place at summer camp. It's a comedy, but it's a little bit more of a dramedy. I thought that we could pair it with that because they both have that kind of, ridiculous things happen. It's summer camp, all that kind of thing. There's also Troop Beverly Hills, which I think leans much more into sort of the campy aspect of it, but it's also about, a group of kids and like sort of a counselor having zany adventures. And I think that would be a really great one. Alice recommends it like a crazy amount. So I thought that we could throw that in the mixing pot. And then the last one that I highly recommend would be Addams Family Values, because most of that is at a summer camp. Also very good. Oh, and I just saw one, Sleepaway Camp. It's like supposed to be one of the worst movies ever made, but it's also like that so campy that people love it, and it also takes place at a sleepaway camp. So,
okay, I have not seen any of these movies. I think so. Camp, the first one, just Camp. What year did that come out?
Oh, I think like 2004.
Okay. Camp movie 2013? No.
It might be that late. Let me see. Nope. Camp 2003 film.
2003.
Directed by Todd Graff.
Okay. With Addams Family Values, it's definitely one that I've never seen and I want to see. It is technically the sequel, right?
Yes.
To the original one. I haven't seen the original, but I feel
the original is great, but it's not like you miss a whole lot by jumping in with the second one.
Sure. Anna Kendrick. Wow.
Yeah. This is, Camp. I think, where she gets her start.
Damn. Stephen Sondheim? Mm-hmm. Is it a musical?
Yeah, I think that because it takes place at a musical camp. I think there are singing scenes, but it is, I think, just a straight comedy.
Okay. And then Troop Beverly Hills. Troop Beverly Hills looks. It does look up Alice's alley.
Yeah. I've been really enjoying just like crazy campy movies, just fun movies lately. And also this one is 1989. That's the same year as Wet Hot American Summer. So there's that aspect of it as well. We could talk about the whole like turn of the decade into the 90s, but.
So what do we want to, I guess, like consider in this matchup? Because I feel like that could inform it too. Like Wet Hot American Summer, I feel like you probably know more, but I feel like it exists in different ways. Like it's a camp movie, but it's also like, I feel like one, it's like a sketch comedy troupe, like getting to make a movie and kind of the start of a bunch of people's careers. It's like this absurdist kind of like satire. I don't know. I feel like
there's a couple of things. So Wet Hot American Summer, I would say everything you just said is correct, but it has this weird thing where it's like it's camp, but it's also campy, but also the way they made it was also campy. Like I've never seen such just like there's a whole thing that whenever somebody throws an item off screen, there's a pot sound that like the pot is breaking on the ground, and they just add that throughout the whole thing. So it's like very absurdist, Dadaist type humor. So it kind of feels like a very specific type of comedy. And like you said, it does have sort of a similar feel to like Hot Rod or something, where it is sort of a lot of sketches that are connected by a theme. But also it's like I think we could just go with any of those camps as parameters of like, it has to be a summer camp would make sense to me. Or it has to be like a very campy movie makes sense to me. Or like it has to be kind of absurd and campy in its production. I could also get behind.
Sure.
So to broaden it out a little bit.
Yeah. So have you seen, of the 3 ones you've listed, have you seen all of those ones?
I have seen Addams Family Values, and I have seen Sleepaway Camp. I have not seen Troop Beverly Hills, and I've not seen Camp.
Is there one of those that you are itching to see?
I mean, I did watch the trailer for Troop Beverly Hills, and it looks very silly. So if we wanted a silly vibe, we could do that. It's one that I think Aaron would like. And if we wanted to go like summer camp movies, then I think Camp is more important than Wet Hot American Summer, if that makes sense. But it doesn't mean that it's like not a good match for it.
Sure. I don't know. I'm having a hard time deciding.
Yeah, me
I feel
too.
like I don't.
But also, like, I picked Wet Hot American Summer, so I feel like you should have the final say of what you want to watch, because that's also a consideration in this whole thing, is that we kind of want to watch the movie in some capacity.
This is true, yeah. But also, you know, as part of the exercise, want to be there's an aspect of scientific rigor to this. It's very formal. I mean, I Addams Family Values is one that's like on my list. I feel like that
it's so good, Patrick. I would in a heartbeat rewatch that movie.
Yeah, highly regarded. I feel like it fits. It's about summer camp, but also campy, and seems like iconic to people of our generation. And I'm just like,
I mean, you know this, but I dressed up as Fester from this movie with Alice, and we did the Debbie Fester photo shoot.
This is true, yeah. No, I like this. This is good because I also know these are both movies that you love.
Yeah, you can tear them apart.
Not that I'm going to tear them apart. I think I'll enjoy them both. I'm just curious to see what you'll pick. That makes it for a harder decision.
It does. The thing, so yeah, I'm also super excited. If you want to watch either of these or both of these together, let me know, because these are such fun watches. Like, they are so much better with a group of people.
Yeah, no, we should. I'm excited.
Cool. Anything else happened to you in the last month of cultural importance?
I don't know if this is a rabbit hole that we want to open right now, but maybe we can tease this and revisit it on a later episode, or we can talk about it very briefly and never speak of it again.
Yeah, I mean, either way, we do have the habit of introducing something and then be like, I'll talk about it next time, and then never talk about it.
Oh, you know what? Okay, maybe I'll leave that. I'll tease that little nugget of obsession maybe for a future episode. Maybe not. Maybe I'll forget about it. The other thing that I did talk about on our last Culture Points episode was the family of doves that were living on our front porch.
This is a big update.
And there are big updates from that, because at the time I was speaking about Dove family number 1.
What? There's been updates since the update.
Yes, so Dove family.
For listeners who may be coming in for the first time, welcome. Last time, Patrick revealed that there was a family of doves living in a little planter on his covered patio. However, the mom had gone missing for a day, and they were worried that the mom was gone and that the babies would be in trouble. So let's update from there, because I have the next update, and I feel like our audience is probably falling off their chairs waiting for this update.
Yeah, so Dove family number 1 has a happy ending. I want to see.
Oh, wow. This is dramatic.
Was it the same day? I think I texted you.
Yeah, same day. Probably 6 hours later.
Yeah, that Mama Dove had returned. So she was seemingly just out. So we watched her sit on the porch, hatch two doves. Eventually, two baby doves appeared, which were much larger than I expected baby doves to be by the time I saw them. So she did return, and then at some point, which unfortunately I didn't get to witness, but everyone left the nest and happily ever after. So
Nature is amazing. And that's the end. Happy ending. Let's
So that dove family number one. And it was interesting because right before there was another dove that showed up and would kind of be up on the roof and really vocal. And I was like, is this the dad dove? Is this just a different one? But they seemingly were fine and left. And then within a couple days, another dove had started sitting in the planter, seeming like she was going to take over this nest and start to hatch eggs. And so she would sit there, and the first dove, I feel like, never left while she was sitting on the eggs. Second dove would come and go a little bit. And so I started to snap some pictures of the eggs in the basket. And so for the one day the dove was gone, I took a picture. There was one egg in the basket. And the one day I went to take a picture while Mama Dove was in there, and I scared her, which I felt really bad about. She flew away. She did come back. Good. And then there was another day when there are carpenter bees that have been boring into our porch, and so I took a broom to be shoo bees, and that also scared her, and she flew away. So I was like, I feel bad. So, but she kept sitting. She would come back. She would sit. One day she left. I took a picture. There were 2 eggs. So now 2 eggs. And then
The mockingbird? Were they the same kind of egg?
Oh, I think so. Is that what mockingbirds do?
Yeah, they store their eggs in other birds' nests and then let them take care of them.
Oh, interesting.
The deadbeat dads of birds.
Wow. No, so, okay, April 30th, 2 eggs. Then let me see, I don't think I took another picture, so I never saw any baby birds hatch. Then on May 5th, 1 week later, no bird in the nest. I take a picture, eggshell. Cracked egg. Potentially the site of a small baby bird. It's honestly hard to tell from the picture. There might be a little fuzzy thing. I can't tell. Next day, took a picture. Nothing. No sign. No eggshell. No mama bird. And they haven't been back since. And that's been 2 weeks.
If listeners know what may have happened or have a theory, please leave it in the comments and I will talk about it on Next Culture Boys. Because this feels like a mystery, because either the egg has broken and the bird died and didn't hatch well and the mom just sort of left and it was eaten by predators or something, or they broke out and then just left and flew away together. But I don't know. I have
it was
no idea.
Yeah, I don't think the birds would have been old enough to leave, but we don't know. And now we've taken that planter down and put up a different planter and put some plants in it. And so now it's planting season, but
it's planting season.
So yeah, kind of an unsatisfying ending to the saga of the doves, but that's the way life goes.
Well, maybe it's not over. Maybe it's just in its slump in the second movie before it comes back.
This is true. Yeah.
All right. Well, if everybody wants to send in suggestions for what we should pair next for next month, we'll start to think about that. So feel free to email us. Our email is in the show notes. You can also see both of our Letterboxed accounts, I guess they're called. In there are links to both. Patrick is more of an updater than I am, but I do update once in a while. And if you want to talk to us, our DMs are always open. You can find our socials wherever if you do some sleuthing. All right, everybody. We'll see you later. Patrick, give the people what they want.
What do they want?
Your sultry goodbye.
Oh, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Movie versus movie. Movie versus movie. Movie versus movie. Movie versus movie.